Banks control more than your money. They've shaped empires, sparked revolutions, and quietly dictated the flow of global power for over 4,000 years. Yet, most people never stop to ask, where did banks come from? And how did they become one of the most influential forces in human history? This is the Economic Archive. And today, we're uncovering the secret history of banks. How a simple system of record-keeping evolved into a structure that still governs our economies today. From your paycheck to global finance. Whether you walk into a bank branch or use an app to transfer money in seconds, you're engaging with a system built on generations of transformation. But it didn't start with apps or ledgers. It began in ancient temples, evolved through empires, powered monarchies, financed wars, and eventually became the invisible engine behind entire nations. To understand the influence of banking today, we need to go back to where it all began. Over 4,000 years ago, in ancient Mesopotamia, long before coins existed, temples served as the very first financial institutions. They stored grain, tracked trade, and issued credit using clay tablets, creating the earliest known ledger systems. This wasn't just about convenience. It was about trust. Temples held spiritual authority, so communities believed they were reliable guardians of value. As trade expanded, the system evolved. In ancient Greece and Rome, moneylenders and merchants began issuing loans and taking deposits, often from multiple locations, forming the early foundations of private banking. Interest, risk assessment, and even default laws became part of financial life. When the Roman Empire fell, banking receded into noble houses and monasteries, as the church placed ethical restrictions on charging interest, known as usury. But money lending continued behind the scenes, often disguised by complex contracts. In the Middle Ages, banking was reborn in Italy. Powerful families from cities like Florence and Venice shaped the modern banking industry. The Medici family, in particular, didn't just bankroll trade. They financed wars, popes, and politics. During this time, the word bank came from the Italian banco, meaning bench, since moneylenders conducted business on benches in marketplaces. If a banker failed, their bench was publicly broken. The term bancarotta gave birth to the modern word bankruptcy. And this evolution was just beginning. By the 1600s, banking wasn't just facilitating commerce, it was quietly steering history. The Rothschilds, Fuggers, and other banking dynasties financed fueled industrial empires, and became silent partners behind major geopolitical decisions. In 1694, facing mounting war costs, England established the Bank of England, not just to hold money, but to lend directly to the state. This act birthed the model of central banking that nations across the world would later adopt. Central banks began managing inflation, setting interest rates, and issuing national currency. Crucially, they also served as lenders of last resort, stabilizing economies in times of crisis. Over time, fractional reserve banking became the global norm. Banks realized they didn't need to keep every depositor's money on hand. They only needed a small fraction, and the rest could be lent out to create new money. This expanded economic output, but came with a hidden cost. If too many people demanded their deposits back at once, the system collapsed. This sparked the age of bank runs and financial panics. In the United States, early banking was chaotic. Before the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, banks issued their own notes, causing confusion and fraud. Either way, it proved how essential banks had become, and how deeply modern life depended on their survival. Today, the financial world is digital. We have mobile payments, real-time transfers, and decentralized coins. Yet, traditional banks still enable the infrastructure of money. They hold the back end through which card networks because central banks don't only manage currency, they also influence sentiment, lending, and liquidity. Their decisions shape human behavior, investor confidence, and even election campaigns. That influence is rarely seen, but always felt. At the Economic Archive, we believe exploring the origin of modern finance reveals more than just numbers. It reveals how power hides in processes we rarely think about. And sharing this episode. Comment below and let us know. Have banks become too powerful, or are they evolving into tools we all need to understand better going forward? And if you know someone who uses a bank every day but never wondered how it came to be, share this with them. Understanding money systems isn't just about the past. It's the key to understanding the future.